Hello everyone, welcome. What are the levels of reality? What is reality first? Reality or Brahman is existence, consciousness, infinity, completeness, which is the non-negatable, non-reducible and non-contradictory principle. And what is the world? World is an appearance. World as an appearance or belonging to a lower order reality is the only way we can explain the presence of an infinite, changeless, actionless reality, which cannot itself be a cause of this world, because infinity can only become finite in illusion, in a dreamlike way. The world mind, thus, consists of not only what we actually perceive, but the unperceived substratum, reality or Brahman. Just like an individual dream, in an individual dream, we perceive apparent objects as well as its substratum, the mind. Advaita Vedanta, one of the oldest wisdom teachings of India, sheds some more light on this subject, reality. Advaita Vedanta, however, is not a mere view of reality. It is a way of life. Its aim is to enable human beings to solve the existential problems of life, go beyond suffering, and attain permanent peace or happiness. The essence of this teaching is eloquently summarized by the great teacher, sage, that lived in the 8th century AD, Adi Shankaracharya. Brahman Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Na Para, meaning Brahman is the only truth. The world is not real, meaning Mithya, appearance, insubstantial, dependent, not factual. So the world is not real, and there is ultimately no difference between the individual self and Brahman. Atma equals Brahman. Based on his statements from other texts, we can extend this part, his first part, with the world also is Brahman, because there is no other thing apart from Brahman. It means that the world is not real as matter and mind, but real as awareness, or Brahman. This is Advaita Vedanta in a nutshell. One of the cardinal doctrines or pillars of Advaita Vedanta is a scheme of 3 descending orders or perspectives of reality. Maya, manifestation, functions through 3 energies, or in Sanskrit they are called gunas, called Rajas, Tamas and Sattva, and in 2 dominant modes of ignorance that are indivisible and interdependent, which then give rise to 1. Subjective, individual or personal illusion, and 2. Transactional, collective, intersubjective, mass mind illusion. This therefore results in the 3 levels of reality, 3 orders of one reality, 3 planes of one existence. 1. Absolute reality, which is pure. 2. Transactional reality, common, waking world. And 3. Subjective reality, personal or individual. Transactional and subjective realities depend on the absolute reality. Let us look at these three realities in detail. First one, absolute or transcendental reality. In Sanskrit, it's called Paramarthika Satyam. It is truth reality that is changeless, eternal, actionless, non-dual, propertyless, and unknowable, means beyond mind. There is no creation, no destruction. Absolute reality does not depend on anything else for its existence. Only reality or Brahman exists in the form of existence, consciousness, infinity, completeness, or Sat Chit Ananta Ananda. There is no second thing other than Brahman. Pure awareness, Brahman, I, is awareness at rest. I is always aware just by being, but has no body and not available for transaction. This open, infinite awareness without a body-mind complex, therefore, does not have self-awareness. I is aware, but not aware as something. It is too close to itself. I cannot say I because there is no other that exists as thou. In manifestation, universal mind, the I apparently becomes I am. I am is a reflected aspect of awareness at rest. I requires a mind thought to claim, know, or experience. It is now awareness in movement. It now has self-awareness. I am. I exist and I know that I exist. That's what the meaning of I am is. I exist and I know or I am aware that I exist. I can now apparently move, act, say, and transact with I am this. If I is the sun or pure sunlight, I am is the moonlight, and I am this is the moon. Pure light is invisible until it hits an object like moon. Absolute reality is the plane of God, Brahman then. It cannot act or move or talk, but in its presence, experience happens. Just like in the presence of sunlight, things grow. Remember, experience neither belongs to pure awareness nor to a soul or ego. Ego only thinks that it is the doer experiencer having free will. If you see all things in reality, it is not the truth. It is monism. Monism indirectly assigns reality to mind and matter. If you see all things in and as yourself, then it is the truth. It is non-duality. You see the whole world in dream in yourself. That is the nearest illustration. This identity, Advaita, is the whole truth. Advaita does not mean everything is truth. It means truth only is and all else is not. Names and forms, Namarupa, are superimposed on absolute reality like a shadow is superimposed on a man. That is, Namarupa are not away from absolute reality, but they are not part of absolute reality either. I must see everything in me, and I must see everything in you too. then it is the absolute truth. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, to quote, a true sage with equal eye sees all beings in him and himself in all beings. Second one, transactional reality. It's also known as empirical experiential reality. In Sanskrit, it's called Vyavaharika, Satyam. Universe exists, appears in the form of Maya, means mithya, illusion, apparently real, looks as if it is real. We see mirage in desert. We see bent rod in water. That is an illusion. This waking world is a projected dream from the universal mind, Maya or totality, and is common to all. This illusion is caused by the root cosmic primal ignorance. We can know the illusion, but we cannot remove it by knowing it. We can only understand it and act appropriately like a sage, a jnani, does. If you look at Maya, how can you describe it? How can you describe an object for that matter? Everything here is under the spell of the three gunas or powers or energies of Maya, and everything is changing from moment to moment. So an object that is known to be one thing one moment is something else next moment. If an object is in the state of constant change, how do you describe it? What is the reality of it? Well, it has no real reality. It has an experiential or apparent reality. This whole world is just flickering on and off. It is like when you go to the movies and you see a mountain on the screen. The mountain looks still, permanent and solid, but it is not. The image is flickering on and off so fast that the eye cannot detect the change. So it appears that the mountain is still when in fact it is constantly being created and destroyed. This is transactional reality, the waking state. Transactional reality will seem real as long as we are ignorant of the absolute reality. Transactional reality will seem real as long as we are ignorant of the absolute reality. Just like the mirage, when you understand that this is a seeming reality, the appearance does not go away. Your body and mind remain, and they keep interacting with the apparent reality in exactly the same way as before. The difference is that you know it is an apparent reality instead of believing that it's real. Remember, the simplest definition of real in Vedanta is permanent. People think that reality disappears into oneness when they realize, I am awareness, I am Brahman. But it doesn't. What is duality and what is dualism? Duality is illusion, ill vision, confusion, misperception. And dualism is dual vision, delusion, misbelief, moha in Sanskrit. So even with the understanding, the appearance of duality always remains, but it just doesn't confuse you anymore. Ignorance goes, ignorance falls. Your belief that this duality is real also disappears. But of course, the experience of duality is still there. This is now called an enlightened duality or non-duality, where the sage is in. There is no personal doership. It's all an impersonal happening. An observer, subject, knower, doer, feeler, or experiencer, and an observed object becomes an observer, subject, and an observed object. An observer subject and an observed object becomes an observer object and an observed object, both objects. How cool is that? A sage deliberately invokes differences, duality, for the sake of transactions and to enjoy gratitude. He invokes non-duality to enjoy fullness, completeness. This is why Vedanta defines moksha as knowledge of both real, satya, and not real, mithya, and the relationship between the two. And what is the relationship? None, because they belong to two orders of reality. What is the relationship between a waker and the dream ego inside of waker's dream? By the way, moksha is derived from the root Sanskrit moch, which means free, let go, release, liberate. Free from what? Free from experience, gunas of Maya. Knowing that experience is me, but I am not the experience. Free from the separate self or the experiencer, ego, you think you are. Moksha also means the cessation of moha or delusion. Moha plus ksha. The third one, subjective reality. This is also known as personal or distortional reality. In Sanskrit, it's called pratibhasika satyam. This reality is dreamlike, personal. Reality from the standpoint of an individual, colored mind, available to only mind, to only one mind. Subjective reality is individual's vasana-based or desire-based interpretation, evaluation of the transactional reality, colored by likes and dislikes, desires and fears, imaginations and judgments, etc. This is like seeing a snake for a rope in semi-darkness. This illusion is caused by individual ignorance, called karya ajnana. Dream state is the best example of the subjective reality. However, this happens in waking state as well. But this illusion is instantly removed after knowing the truth in waking state and after waking up from the night dream. Mithya, common to all, is transactional. Mithya, perceived by a particular person and not by others, is subjective. Subjective reality will seem real as long as we are ignorant of the transactional reality. Subjective reality will seem as real as long as we are ignorant of the transactional reality. And this seeming reality is corrected in waking state itself and does not require absolute knowledge. We experience this daily. The transactional reality, of course, gets corrected upon the rise of the absolute knowledge, Brahmajnana. Both transactional reality and subjective reality are apparent realities, mithya. Examples of subjective reality are rope snake and dream tiger. Examples of transactional reality are mirage, sunrise, etc. And Blue sky is another example. As a side note regarding the deep sleep state, deep sleep state, sushupti, is blissful ignorance from the point of view of waking state and is experienced as a reflected consciousness. So, deep sleep is neither transactional nor subjective reality. These two states operate in and apply to mithya only, the effect of duality on the mind. You experience Satchit Ananda directly in deep sleep, but you do not know that you are that reality. You are that Satchit Ananda. This is the closest state to enlightenment, but there is still a thin veil of ignorance which needs to be removed in the waking state through discrimination and inquiry. There is still an element of duality in deep sleep because duality is dormant and rises again as the mind to experience the apparent world. An enlightened person and pure awareness do not have any world or mind in dormancy because they are pure. Corresponding to these three realities, there exist three viewpoints: absolute, totality, and individual. An individual will find peace, happiness, when she understands that the doer is totality Maya, not a separate self she thinks she is, and she, as awareness, is simply a witness knower. An individual will find peace, happiness, when she understands that the doer is totality or Maya, and she, as awareness, is simply a witness knower. In other words, in this apparent world of duality, act responsibility without any prejudices, as though you have free will, but knowing that it's all totality's will. This is from the totality's viewpoint, an enlightened perspective. Thank you.